Hey there, this is DW here. From here on, we'll do things a little differently. People doesn't seem to like my intro, so I'll just cut it short. No problem. Let's get straight to the story. We have a NuclearRevenge story posted by Kitten Avenger. So the first bit of backstory. My wife and I live in a small town near the outskirts, i.e. it's all houses and no flats there. This will be very important later on. We also had a retired neighbor. We'll just call her Karen. Now, Karen, we found out, had a bit of a history. More exactly, her husband beat a worker to death when he caught him stealing, and then covered it up by hanging him in the forest. He managed to get away with it due to some political and police connections. The husband had died in the meantime, but everybody still remembered it. Small city mentality, and she was an absolute outcast. That was probably exaggerated by her being an absolute Karen. Now that that is over, let's get into the meat of it. So over a year ago, we adopted a cat to go alongside our tomcat. Surprisingly for us, they had kittens quite quickly. 3 of them, about 2 months after we adopted her. So we were raising them up, thinking about who should we give them to, when suddenly both she and the kittens disappeared. We found just one of the kittens in terrible agony that night. Her, I don't know what to call them, screams had woken us up. She died before we got to the vet. We already had our suspicions, which were confirmed by the vet. Broken glass. Given that the kittens always follow their mother, what we suspected happened was that Karen put a bowl of meat and glass, and the cat found it and shared it with the kittens. My wife wanted to go to the police. I had better ideas in mind. I should mention that the fence between us is an old one, made of chicken wire with a lot of holes. Very easy to cross. So the next Sunday when Karen went to the church, she was very religious. I went to check through her house. Guess what I found in the trash? The 2 other kittens and the cat. And so I set my plan into motion. Next week, on Sunday, I went into her house again. This time, I had come prepared. I had cleaned everything flammable between our house and hers. Once inside her house, I staged a little accident. She had a very flammable carpet. One well-placed turn candle and it started. So Karen comes home and sees that it's all burning. Most people would stop at that. We didn't. By now, my wife was fully on board. Seeing Karen there, homeless, afraid, and all around desperate, we offered her to stay at our place for a while. Good neighbors as we were. Everyone else would have told her to F off, she knew. On the condition she tells us the truth about the cats. We promised we weren't interested in pressing charges, we just wanted closure. Obviously, I also had a hidden recorder on me, and when we let her inside, she tearfully confessed everything, saying how much she was sorry, how she wished she could make it right, yada yada. So now I had a recording that was enough for quite a lot of criminal and civilian charges, cruelty to animals, destruction of property, and emotional trauma. But I wanted to go for one more. The next week, after she brought all of her stuff in, we served her an absolutely delicious lunch. Duck with mashed potatoes. The only thing was her portion had a crap ton of laxatives. So after she started shitting her guts out, we called for an ambulance, insisting she should go to the hospital. So Karen goes to the hospital and finds out there was nothing wrong. Pretty pissed, she comes back to our home to find all her stuff on the street, and me and my wife on the fence, telling her to F off. The main gate to our courtyard, however, was left partially open on purpose. We also told her we would be pressing charges on the cats. Now, entitled, angry, and scared biatch that she was, what do you think? Did she take the bait? Of course she did. And she lounged right through the gate to discover both me and my wife had 2 wooden sticks on us that we promptly used to knock her teeth out. We then pressed charges on everything. Damage to property, the cat and kittens were technically our property, emotional trauma, killing the cats and us finding the one that somehow survived for a few hours wailing in our courtyard, breaking and entering, and attempted assault. In the end, she was sent to 10 years in prison and had to pay $10,000 in damages, mainly for the attempted battery and psychological trauma. Really funny thing is, she kept all her money in the house that burned down with it. So if she lives long enough to get out of prison, she will be dirt poor. Edit. Thanks for the platinum, you kind stranger. Also, to answer the main question in the replies, why weren't you prosecuted? Well, the only criminal acts were the trespassing and the arson, both of which cannot be proven. As for whether Karen had any connected family, the answer is no. She and her murderer husband had no children, and both him and his odious kin in the police station have since died of natural causes. She's like 70 now. I can't believe how people can be so cruel. The cats and kittens, they did nothing. The kittens are practically babies. What can they do to make these women hate them enough to kill them? I can't understand that. Sorry. Well, that's it for the story today. Please show my tiny little channel some support by subscribing. It's totally free. Just click on my icon on the screen or the button shown below the video, and we'll see you again next time. Have a great night.